Hello, my witchlets. Today we are going to make one of my all-time favorite comfort foods, but we're going to make it low carb. So I'm from, as I've mentioned many times before, Pennsylvania, and one of our, I'm going to call it state dishes, is the Philadelphia cheesesteak. And cheesesteak is awesome. There are many different ways to make it, but there's only one wrong cheese to use, and that's Cheese Whiz. That's not cheese. Don't put the Cheese Whiz on your cheesesteak, okay? Okay, it's not a real cheesesteak if it has Cheese Whiz. Anyway, moving on. You want to use like an actual cheese because it gives you actual flavor and actual nutrition. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a pretty simple version of it. This is kind of what I grew up eating in Harrisburg, but we're going to use shaved beef. You can use flank steak. You just need to make sure that you have it thinly sliced and probably about 4-inch strips. So we are going to cut this in a little bit. We're going to use some mushrooms, a green bell pepper. This is a half teaspoon of salt, a full teaspoon of pepper, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. I've got some provolone cheese we're going to put on top of it, and I'm going to use an entire onion rather than using onion powder because you want some nice crunch in there with your veggies. So that's pretty much what you need for this. You need an oven-safe skillet or a baking dish if you don't have an oven-safe skillet, and you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these items sliced into the way they need to be sliced, and we'll come back and we'll start on the beef. Okay, so we're back, and it's time to get started with our steak here. So ours is much thinner than what the recipe is talking about. Ours is very, very thin, less than probably a 1/16 of an inch thick. And the recipe is talking about using flank steak that's about an 1/8 of an inch thick. So this is going to cook much faster than what your flank steak will, and that's okay. So to this, we are going to add our salt, our pepper. If you're using onion powder, your onion powder, and our garlic powder. And then we are going to just toss this around and get the spice a-flowing. So if you are using flank steak, this process here will take you approximately 12 minutes. You want to cook it through, and you want to get it kind of brown and crispy. So like I said, that should take about 12 minutes for a 1/8 inch thick flank steak cut into bits. It's going to take less time for me, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cooking this up because I don't have anything else to say, and I don't want to just bore you to death with watching me do whatever this is here. And I'll come back in a few minutes when we are ready to transfer this to a plate and get started with our vegetables. Okay, so because I'm not using flank steak, this isn't crisping the way that a flank steak would. It is getting darker brown and everything, but if you haven't guessed, it is very hot here and I'm dying. So I'm gonna go ahead and just transfer this now to my plate. And since I don't have any juices remaining from my beef because it was lean beef, I'm gonna add a little extra oil, and we're gonna go ahead. This is on a medium-low temperature. But it was on high for crisping up the beef. Okay, add some oil, and then we're gonna go ahead and start adding our veggies. I'm gonna start with the onions. It's a lot of onion. I hope I have room in this to put it into the oven, because I have to add everything back in here.
Yeah, I would have used it, but it's not oven safe.
It's not oven safe. Otherwise, I would have used the big skillet. So we might end up having to use a baking dish after all, and that's fine.
You could transfer all that to the big skillet and then put it
Yeah.
into a baking dish.
I'm gonna have to transfer all of this. Thank you, cameraman Ken. Ooh, that's warm and stuck. There we go.
Save that, because when it cooks down, you'll be able to put it in.
You know, you can speak up, cameraman Ken.
Yeah, I did.
'Cause first of all, I couldn't hear you. Second of all, people at home couldn't hear you either.
No, that'll cook down, so you can put it back in there when you mix it all together.
Okay. Well, this only cooks for 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It won't cook
To-
that a lot. 'Cause you
to
want
get-
it cooking.
I'm gonna add a little more oil.
It might cook a little longer because you have a lot more onion in there.
It's just supposed to cook the veggies till they're just starting to get tender. And then it goes, you mix the beef back into this, and then you put your cheese on top, and then you put it in the oven. You can stick it under a broiler when you're done with the baking part of it. However, if you are new to the channel, then you will find this tidbit of information interesting, and if you're used to the channel, you already know my oven sucks a lot. If you'll notice, I said that you need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit to make this recipe. And my oven is currently set to 400 because it is 50 degrees off, at least.
More and more at the higher end. It's my comment.
Yeah, more and more at the higher end.
Oven thermometer's your friend.
Yes, very much so. All right, so I'm gonna let those cook, and then we'll come back and we'll show you how to put everything together, and the cheese and all of the stuff and the things, and we'll be back. All right, so now we just need to mix our beef, ow, that's hot, back into our veggie mixture. I just realized, cameraman Ken, that shouldn't be sitting on the stove.
Oh, the oven's on.
Yeah.
We don't want to get that 50 degrees.
All right, so this gets mixed together, as I said, and then we are going to come right back. We're going to reframe, come right back, and we will get everything going into the oven here in just a moment. All right, so we're back, and we're just going to pour this into our baking dish here. So if you're using a baking dish, you want to make sure that it is greased. However you decide to grease it is up to you. We used a non-stick cooking spray that is made with coconut oil. Okay, so this is only going to bake for 5 minutes, so you want to make sure that everything is cooked to your liking. All right. Now the fun part. Cheese. You'll use approximately 6 slices of provolone. And you're just trying to cover everything with the provolone. Like so. Like that. And then this is going to go in the oven for 5 minutes, and then we will take it out and show you what it looks like. Alrighty. It's time.
Yay, time.
So, there is the the lovely piece. We ended up adding a little bit more provolone to it because we like provolone, especially on Philly cheesesteak. So this recipe makes 4 servings. So enjoy, and make sure that you hit the like button, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and you ring the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos come out, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays every week, unless something has come up. Also, you can give me a follow on Facebook. You can find me at KWOS Foods on Facebook, and I usually post there about whether or not a video has happened and why it has not, or whatever. And I'm also on Instagram under Chrissiness, KRYSSIENESS. And you can probably find me on Patreon too, though I personally have forgotten what my Patreon is. It's at the end of this video though, so you can go over there, and if you feel like I've earned your trust, toss me a little cash and we'll, you know, upgrade some of our kitchenware to be something a little bit better than what we have. So we'll see you next time.